Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you 186 back again with another video. This is gonna be a first of a series of games I'm gonna be talking about this year. Games that I've pre-ordered and games that I'm going to be buying at launch, and just talking about really the main topic and bringing up a topic which each game being representative, bringing that topic up. Now, obviously, right here is Street Fighter Five. Before I start though, I do want to mention that I will be on the Multiverse podcast next Monday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Was invited by Anchorman V. Also is going to have Fame Entertainment 2K, which he's on with, which he's a normal guest on there, and also Kiss Move is going to be on there also. So I look forward to it. I also want to say big shout out to Anchorman V. He's the one that made my YouTube and Twitter banner and my avatar as well. So I definitely want to give him a big shout out for that, and look forward to being on the podcast. Now, as you can see here, this is gameplay I had of an earlier beta of the second beta for Street Fighter Five. I had to delete it because I got a couple games and I'm running out of space, so I have to buy a terabyte hard drive. So yeah, there you have it. But I got the most I need out of the game to kind of render a verdict that this game is going to be awesome. You know what I mean? So I'm 100% looking forward to this game. This is actually my most anticipated game, this year, and this is pretty much the reason why I decided to jump into next generation Street Fighter Five. So definitely looking forward to this game, and I can't wait. As you can see here, the game is pretty much similar to the previous Street Fighter games. You'll have the basics are pretty much the same. One of the main differences between this and other games, in the other Street Fighter games, is the V triggers. The V triggers trigger many different attributes for characters, and they're all different. Unlike previous games where the gauges and bars and stuff like that are pretty much the same across the board, this one's different. Like some characters will have triggers that are like a bar that's like time triggers. Once you activate it'll go down. Other triggers are like multi-slotted. Some of them have some of the characters have 3 gauge slots. Other ones have two gauge slots. So it's very different. It's an interesting new spin to it. Like the mechanics themselves are not necessarily new. If you remember games like Street Fighter Alpha, they had 3 different isms, and they kind of do somewhat the same thing, and each ism was different. And this is kind of different here. It's kind of like similar here, but each character has their own different attributes. As you can see in the bottom, you see Ken has the V trigger with 3 gauges, and Armika has the one with 2. So it is different for each character. But the main topic of the video that I wanted to talk about is Street Fighter Five a system seller for PS4? Now, before I know this game is not an exclusive; it's a console exclusive. The game is coming out on PC. It will have crossplay with PS4, so for online play. So that's cool. But is this a system seller for the system? And I would have to say yes. Now, I know there's a lot of comparisons between the deal that Sony had with Capcom for this game and the deal that Crystal Dynamics and / Square Enix has for Tomb Raider. And I listen. It sucks that Xbox gamers won't be able to play it if they only own the Xbox. So that sucks. But that won't change. Like that sucks. Like I'm not. I'm a PlayStation guy. For the most part. But that sucks. You know what I mean? Like this game is going. When this game comes out, it will be the best fighting game on the planet. That's my Street Fighter fanboyism coming out. But yeah. So it sucks for them. But I think one of the differences the big difference between the two, and I'm a bottom line guy. I mean, it sucks either way. But a guy on Twitter who I follow, who I'm cool with, I think his name is Kenji Man, or Kenta Man or something like that. I apologize, dude, but he mentioned, he actually came up with an interesting point, and he said that when Street Fighter Five was announced, it only came out because of a leak that came out, kind of describing it as a PS4 exclusive. It was never out there in the ethos of it being kind of like a of it being like an exclusive, or of it being like multiplayer. It was never really perceived that way. When when Rise of the Tomb Raider was first announced, it was announced at the Xbox conference, but it was never perceived in any way, shape, or form that game was going to be an exclusive or anything like that. It was never mentioned that way, not even close. And it was only until they announced it a year later at Gamescom where it was only coming out for the Xbox One, at least for the holiday. So I think that's where a lot of the vitriol came from. And I mean, granted, it was gonna happen regardless. So it's not, it is what it is. But to me, I'm more of a bottom line type of guy. It sucks either way, but business is business. I said that with the Tomb Raider thing, and I'm saying it here. It's business is business. So it sucks. It sucks for gamers who can't afford to have both. But it's a business. It is what it is. But regardless, the main point at hand is this game a system seller, and I actually do think it is. It's a big time fighting game. It's the biggest fighting game on the planet, and it's a fighting game where it's going to be a big time featured fighting game for tournament fighters. I'm not one of them. You know what I mean? I'm complete dog shit compared to those dudes. Those dudes are insane, but you have a lot. This game's gonna be running on commercials throughout the world. It's a big, like Street Fighter is a big deal in Japan, a big deal in Europe, a big deal here, and you have all the other countries who are kind of like building up momentum when it comes to the gaming industry, like Latin America, like certain parts of Latin America. It's going to be a big deal there as well. Also in China, and that it is what it is, man. Like this is a big coup for them, and I think it's a bigger coup for Sony to have this game as their console exclusive as opposed to Tomb Raider, because Tomb Raider came out. Tomb Raider came out in the midst of it got overshadowed by a lot of big games, mainly Fallout 4, and this game's coming out in February, and there's not a lot of huge games coming out around this time. At least I don't think it is. What else is coming out? No, not really. Lots of smaller games and stuff like that. But but this is the game right here, man. This is it, man. And I think it's a big deal for Sony to have this game exclusive, and I do believe it's a system seller. Now, is it Sony? Like I hate using that term because I don't think that a game should be considered a system seller if you especially if you don't have especially if you have no interest in that game. Like for example, Halo. Halo is a big system seller for a lot of people. It's not for me because I'm not a fan of Halo. But I understand it's a big game. I understand how important that game is to the Microsoft ecosystem. But it's not a system seller for me. Like Street Fighter Five is a system seller for me. Like that's for me that's a big deal. And I think for a lot of people it's a big deal. And to have this game exclusive is that's a big deal. And I mean, you can tell me in the comment section if you agree or disagree. The video is almost over, so this is just me. I actually uploaded video of this fight, so I'm just showing it right now because I gotta have at least one win on this end of video clip. So there you go. You can tell me in the comment section what you think about it. Do you believe that Street Fighter Five is a system seller? Just to kind of like talk about a little bit more. They are doing a story mode in the vein of Mortal Kombat 9 and X. That's gonna be coming out in June. You'll still be able to play arcade mode, and it'll have like a simpler story for each character, but the story mode is going to be like in depth. And for those of you who may not know, Street Fighter, like the last Street Fighter game in the story lore is actually Street Fighter Third Strike. Or the Street Fighter 3 series in general. That's the last game in the lore. Street Fighter 4 is actually between 2 and 3, at least as far as I remember. Like hopefully I'm right about that. So what the story mode is going to be about kind of like the going from Street Fighter Street Fighter Third Strike from 4 to Third Strike to Street Fighter 5. So, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's a free update. Plus, they're also going to have the 6 new characters coming out, and I'm a big fan of this roster. Like, it's 16 characters, so it's a little bit smaller than normal than we're used to. But new characters like Rashard looks like a cool character to use. I've never been a fan of Arminka, but I'll try to use her, see if I can go with her. Obviously, you have Ken and Ryu; those are my main guys. It don't have T-Hawk; that's my main character, but it is what it is. But all the other characters, I love the roster. I think the new characters are awesome. Bringing back Karen is a big deal. Like, I'm a big fan of Karen. But like, we'll see what happens. But anyways, this is it for the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This is Who 186. I'm out.